All right, you guys, happy Wednesday. Wednesday? Is today Wednesday? Yes, today is Wednesday. Yesterday, we read chapter 12, where we read about the meeting that all the animals had of Charlotte needing to figure out a new slogan to put in the web because people are getting tired of reading the same old thing. And they needed Templeton to get a magazine clipping so that she could copy the spelling because they're animals and they don't know how to spell. So today we are reading one half of chapter 13. We're going to read up to page 97, starting on page 92. So we're reading 92 to 97 today of chapter 13. And then you guys will have an activity in your novel study for today is to compare and contrast two characters from this story. So you're going to make a Venn diagram and you're going to pick two characters, but I'll talk about that more at the end of this video. So let's get into today's reading, which again, we're starting on page 92 at chapter 13. And the title of chapter 13 is Good Progress. All right. Far into the night, while the other creatures slept, Charlotte worked on her web. First, she ripped out a few of the orb lines near the center. She left the radial lines alone as they were needed for support. As she worked, her 8 legs were a great help to her. So were her teeth. She loved to weave, and she was an expert at it. When she was finished ripping things out, her web looked something like this. So we get a little illustration of her web. Now we're on page 93. A spider can produce several kinds of threads. She uses a dry, tough thread for foundation lines, and she uses a sticky thread for snare lines, the ones that catch and hold insects. Charlotte decided to use her dry thread for writing the new message. If I write the word terrific with sticky thread, she thought, every bug that comes along will get stuck in it and spoil the effect. Now, let's see. The first letter is T. Charlotte climbed to a point at the top left-hand side of the web. Swinging her spinnerets into position, she attached her thread and then dropped down. As she dropped, her spinning tubes went into action and she let out thread. At the bottom, I'm getting the hiccups. At the bottom, she attached the thread. This formed the upright part of the letter T. Charlotte was not satisfied, however. She climbed up and made another attachment right next to the first. Then she carried the line down so that she had a double line instead of a single line. It will show up better if I make the whole thing with double lines. She climbed back up and moved over about an inch to the left, touched her spinnerets to the web, and then carried a line across to the right, forming the top of the T. She repeated this, making it double. Her 8 legs were very busy helping. Now for the E. Charlotte got so interested in her work, she began to talk to herself, as though to cheer herself on. If you have been sitting quietly in the barn cellar that evening, you would have heard something like this. We're at the top of page 94. Now for the R. Up we go. Attach, descend, pay out line. Whoa, attach, good. Up you go. Repeat, attach, descend, pay out line. Whoa, girl, steady now. Attach, climb, attach. Over to the right, pay out line, attach. Now right and down and swing that loop and around and around. Now into the left, attach, climb, repeat. Okay, easy, keep those lines together. Now, then out and down for the leg of the R. Pay out line, woo, attach, ascend, repeat, good girl. And so, talking to herself, the spider worked at her difficult task. When it was completed, she felt hungry. She ate a small bug that she had been saving, then she slept. Next morning, Wilbur arose and stood beneath the web. He breathed the morning air into his lungs. Drops of dew catching the sun made the web stand out clearly. When Lurvy arrived with breakfast, there was the handsome pig, and over him, woven neatly into block letters, was the word terrific. Another miracle. Lurvy rushed and called Mr. Zuckerman. Mr. Zuckerman rushed and called Mrs. Zuckerman. Mrs. Zuckerman ran to the phone and called the Arables. The Arables climbed into their truck and hurried over. Now, the next page, we see a really cute little Wilbur smiling with his web that says terrific at the top. On page 97, everybody stood at the pig pen and stared at the web and read the word over and over, while Wilbur, who really felt terrific, stood quietly, swelling out his chest and swinging his snout from side to side. Terrific, breathed Zuckerman in joyful admiration. Edith, you better phone the reporter on the Weekly Chronicle and tell him what has happened. He will want to know about this. He may want to bring a photographer. There isn't a pig in the whole state that is as terrific as our pig. The news spread. People who had journeyed to see Wilbur when he was some pig came back again to see him now that he was terrific. That afternoon, when Mr. Zuckerman went to milk the cows and clean out the tie-ups, he was still thinking about what a wondrous pig he had owned. Lurvy, he called, there is to be no more cow manure thrown down into that pig pen. I have a terrific pig. I want that pig to have clean, bright straw every day for his bedding. Understand? Yes, sir, said Lurvy. Furthermore, said Mr. Zuckerman, I want you to start building a crate for Wilbur. I've decided to take the pig to the county fair on September 6th. Make the crate large and paint it green with gold letters. What will the letters say? asked Lurvy. They should say Zuckerman's famous pig. Lurvy picked up a pitchfork and walked away to get some clean straw. Having such an important pig was going to mean plenty of extra work. He could see that. Now we're going to stop right there because we see that big gap where it's going to kind of take us in another part of this chapter. So this is a good starting point. Now, for your assignment today, I want you to pick 2 characters in this story so far. It can be the animals, it can be some of the humans, but I want you to be comparing and contrasting them. So when we have a Venn diagram, remember that on one side of the Venn diagram is one character's name, on the other side of the Venn diagram is the other character's name, and then that middle circle that connects is what they have in common. So think about character traits, think about physical traits, personality traits, things that they enjoy doing, things that we know about how they are. You can take Templeton, who we know is not the nicest character in the book, and maybe Wilbur, who we know a lot about Wilbur. He's innocent, he's naive, he's young, he's interested, he's questioning everything. And you can compare him with Templeton, or you can compare him with Charlotte, whoever you want to do. But I want to see your Venn diagram with 2 characters that we're comparing and contrasting. How are they the same? How are they different? When you do this, I want you to try to use full sentences as much as you can. If that's tough for you to do, just go ahead and write down bullet points in your Venn diagram. I will see you guys tomorrow, or whatever day is next. I think tomorrow is a rest from reading, and then we'll pick up on chapter 13 on Friday.